Welcome back. In the previous class, what we have observed that if we have some autonomous system and if we know the eigenvalue and eigenvector of the system matrix, then we are able to give the closed form solution of the autonomous differential equation x dot equal to ax. So basically, one can easily construct the quantitative solution of the linear autonomous system with help of the concept of the eigenvalue, eigenvector, and if we know the initial condition. In today's lecture, we are going to talk the application of eigenvalue and eigenvector to construct the qualitative behavior of the solution. So basically, we are not going to talk about quantitative picture, but now we are going to talk about approximate picture or qualitative picture. And I will tell you that why only one can guess about the qualitative picture. And again, whatever analysis we are going to taught today, so that is basically limited for two-dimensional system and basically two-dimensional linear time invariant system. So basically, if you see that I have written one note here that two-dimensional time invariant system occupy an important place in the study of nonlinear systems because solution can be represented by the curve in the plane, and due to that reason means if you construct the quantitative rather than qualitative solution rather than quantitative solution, then at least in two-dimensional we can draw it and we are able to feel the solution, and due to that reason most of time people are just limit their analysis for two-dimensional system, and I will tell you why time invariant in the latter part of this lecture. So let us start the lecture. So I am going to take the generalized second order nonlinear autonomous system. So I have two states x1 and x2, and that is actually whole system is governed by this particular equation, and we know that particular equation is represented like this equation, equation number 1, x1 dot equal to f1 x1 x2 and x2 dot equal to f2 x1 x2, and here our state is x1 and x2, and I have already told you that whenever we are talking about the differential equation for the engineering purpose, at that time we are also specifying the initial condition, and somehow initial condition, interpretation of initial condition or state is like we have seen that carry the all information of past. So if I know the initial condition and differential equation, then at least I can predict about the future. So I can predict future either in quantitative way or qualitative way. So in quantitative way, we have exact picture. Exact picture means each time instant what is the exact trajectory I can construct if I know x0 exactly and model exactly. But most of time that is not possible. So even if we are claiming that something is quantitative, really that is not quantitative, because whatever model we are selecting for representing the physical system, that is always approximate. So even if I know the initial condition or state exactly, I cannot construct the future solution in more precise way. Due to that reason, that is also somehow a qualitative picture, not a quantitative picture. So but for the time being, I am assuming that model is perfect. I know the initial condition, then I can solve that particular differential equation using some standard way. So that is called quantitative analysis. And meaning of qualitative analysis is that if I just concern about the some local solution or solution in some vicinity, or we are actually just interested in the qualitative analysis. Qualitative analysis means approximate solution. So that is the main aim, because from the qualitative analysis I can able to means I can talk in very depth form also. Due to that reason, quantitative as well as qualitative both are equally important. So let us try to see that in order to proceed for the qualitative analysis, we have to see certain definitions. So first definition that is associated with the dynamical system, that is called trajectory. So here I am defining the meaning of trajectory. So what we are telling, that the locus, and since I am considering just two-dimensional system, and I can represent that system in some two-dimensional plane, or you can tell that whiteboard or blackboard plane. So I am telling that locus in the x1 x2 plane of the solution xt for all t greater than equal to t0, where t0 is the when we are going to start our experiment, is the curve that passes through the point. So if I have some initial condition x0, so and I know the differential equation, so I can claim that I have certain solution that is associated with x0, and for time being I am assuming that I have unique solution. So but obviously it might possible in some differential mathematical differential equation from one point I have several solution, but for engineering purpose I am assuming that corresponding to each initial condition I have unique solution. And I will tell you that when this kind of things I can give guarantee, but for time being I am going to drop that condition, means I am going to drop the condition of uniqueness. Just we are telling that okay, I have unique solution. So that passes through the point x0, and this curve is called trajectory or orbit of the system. So system, I am telling system number one. So I have defined the generalized system. So this is, you can see that this is nonlinear system, because I am assuming that this function f1 and f2 is not satisfying the property of homogeneity or additivity, and due to that reason I am telling that this is not necessarily the linear. Now this curve is called the trajectory. So whatever curve that is passing through any chosen point or any initial condition, that I am going to give the name, and that is called trajectory. And now next definition is actually the plane. So we are telling that I have two-dimensional system. So basically I have one state x1 and another state x2. So you can able to plot the evolution of x1 with respect to time. You can also same time you are able to plot x2 with respect to time. But whenever we are talking about phase plane, then we are basically plotting the trajectory between x1 and x2. So that plane is basically called the phase plane, and due to that reason whatever analysis I am going to present, that is also called phase plane analysis or state plane analysis. So most of time whenever you are turn on your book, then you are able to see that people are generally using this kind of nomenclature, that is phase plane analysis. So let us try to see one point what I have just told you. I am telling that suppose that you have two-dimensional system, and I have, it is possible to visualize the evolution of a state either with in this way. So I have taken one state and I am taking the time, and after that we are seeing the trajectory in this x1 t plane. Similarly, if I have two-dimensional system, then another state is x2 t. Again I am going to draw some kind of trajectory with respect to time, And but in this case, whenever we are talking about phase plane analysis, at that time this axis is x1 and this axis is x2. So in this way we are going to see the behavior between x1 and x2. So somehow we are going to drop the notion of time. So from x1 and t, x2 and t, it is possible to construct x1 and x2. But once we drop the notion of time, it is not again possible to recover the previous trajectory. So due to that reason, we are telling that this analysis is just a qualitative analysis, not a quantitative analysis. Because once I will see here, then I can see the behavior, but I cannot able to reconstruct solution uniquely with respect to time. And due to that reason, whatever topic in starting of topic we have seen that I was talking about the qualitative behavior, not quantitative behavior. So another important quantity that is associated with this, that is called vector field. And vector field, we are telling that suppose you have some autonomous system x dot equal to fx. So fx is the vector, because here I am assuming x belongs to R2. So x belongs to R2 means vector, whatever right hand side of vector, they have two component f1x and f2x. Here x is x1 and x2, and another f2 is also function of x1 and x2, is the tangent to the trajectory at x. So what we are telling that in two-dimensional plane you can take, and in this two-dimensional plane this is x1 and x2. So somewhere if you are at this point, then whatever tangent here, that is nothing but the vector field. So in this way we are visualizing the vector field. So I have position vector, and rate of change of position vector is nothing but the velocity vector, or somehow we are telling vector field. So now I have written one remark. So we consider fx as a vector field on the state plane. And again, whenever we are talking about a state plane, I have already told you that what is meaning of the state plane. So which means that to each point x in the plane we assign a vector. So basically what happens, that suppose that if you consider any second order system, then second order system is going to evolve in two-dimensional plane. So in two-dimensional plane I have infinite many point. So you can take any one point, and at that point, if you are trying to draw, that means how basically trajectory is behaving, so somehow you have to draw one tangent to that point, and that tangent is nothing but that is the vector field. So now try to visualize this particular vector field using one example. So for simplicity, I have taken two-dimensional system. So two-dimensional system is represented like this: x dot equal to fx, and here I have first component 2x1 and second component is x2. So what basically we are telling that, I have this kind of equation: x1 dot equal to 2x1 square and x2 dot equal to x2. So basically this is second order nonlinear system due to x1 square. Now meaning of vector field, that suppose you know the initial condition 1 and 1. So using initial condition, now you have to construct next point x plus fx. So now if you know the x, so from by putting x in the right hand side of this differential equation, I can know the what is the numerical value of this, so I have calculated numerical value by 2 and 1, and after that we are telling that next point, in order to generate the next point, what I am going to do, I am going to take the previous point and simply I am going to add that point, or whatever we are getting after calculation, and whatever result, that is basically the next point, and in these 2 points I am going to draw one vector. So we are telling that at this point basically this is the vector field. In next point, now this is your initial condition, again you can put this initial condition, and in this way we are constructing the whole vector field in this plane, and that is called phase plane or state plane. Now, so this is the way we are filling the vector inside some space. So now next concept is called the phase portrait. So family of all trajectory is called the phase portrait of x dot equal to fx. So basically what we are telling that if you have any two-dimensional system, then each point I can generate the vector field. Now in two-dimensional plane you have infinite many points. So suppose in some small neighborhood, so suppose if you have to construct the trajectory in this particular region, in this region, so try to take one point, and after that you can draw the vector field, and in this way you can fill this whole space, and after that you are try to visualize this, that is called the phase portrait. We will see the phase portrait of some simple system in the next part of this lecture. So now I have already told you that whenever we are talking about some nonlinear system, so definition of nonlinear system is not necessarily linear. It means that somehow nonlinear system, linear system is the subclass of that. So due to that reason, before going to nonlinear system, first try to understand the concept of linear system. And now you are already knowing that how basically about some neighborhood or about some point you can approximate nonlinear system by linear one. So basically, but this analysis is since limited to the autonomous system. Due to that reason, I am going to talk everything in the context of the autonomous system only. So let us try to start the simple case, and simplest case is always linear system. So due to that reason, I am going to start with two-dimensional system, and again I am going to take the simple autonomous system x dot equal to ax, and I am assuming that x belongs to 2 cross 2 matrix. I have the initial condition, because without initial condition differential equation has no meaning for the engineering purpose. And here I have already told you that in the previous class that whenever I have 2 cross 2 matrix or n cross n matrix, then I have three different possibilities. One possibility might be like this: I have all eigenvalue that is real and distinct, I have complex eigenvalue, and third one, I have some kind of real eigenvalue but that is repeated. So due to that reason, again whenever we are going to draw the approximate behavior in two-dimensional plane, I have to consider all possible cases. So I am going to start with the simplest one. I am assuming that both eigenvalue are real, and again after that I am going to take that if suppose that both are negative, both are positive, one is positive, one is negative, then what is the behavior? So I have again taken this system x dot equal to ax, and somehow both states are coupled. It means that I am telling that I have some kind of generalized system, and now you are able to understand that what is meaning of generalized system whenever we are talking. So in this case I am talking that behavior is like this: a11 x1 plus a12 x2 and x2 dot equal to a21 x1 and plus a22 x2. It means that rate of change of x1 is affected by x2 also, and similarly that. And in the previous class I have told you that if you define some transformation M, and here I am assuming that M is 2 cross 2 matrix and non-singular matrix, because again I have to take the inverse of that, and if this is non-singular matrix, then I can define the transformation, and this matrix A can be decoupled in three different ways. If we have real and distinct eigenvalue, then I can get the diagonal form. If I have repeated eigenvalue, then Jordan form, or if we have complex eigenvalue, then I have some complex form. So first I am going to start with the decoupled form or diagonal form. So we are assuming that I am able to construct transformation M, and I have already told you that construction of transformation is very easy if I know the eigenvalue of the matrix A. So suppose if eigenvalue of matrix A is lambda 1 and lambda 2, so then I can able to construct M such that M inverse is nothing but lambda 1 0 0 lambda 2, and basically here lambda 1 and lambda 2 is the eigenvalue of A that I am going to represent by lambda I, where I is 1 and 2. So in this way I can able to generate or decouple this differential equation x dot equal to ax by z1 dot equal to lambda 1 z1 and z2 dot equal to lambda 2 z2. And in this new coordinate frame again I have to transfer initial condition also, because somehow we are shifting from one coordinate frame to another coordinate frame. So initially I have coordinate frame in x1 and x2. Now I have different coordinate frame z1 and z2. And what is beauty of the next coordinate frame? System is looks decoupled in the transform coordinate frame, and due to that reason analysis become pretty easy. So now I have two decoupled linear differential equation, so I know the solution. So z1t equal to z10 e power lambda 1t and z2 equal to z20 e power lambda 2t. So here one point is noticeable, that you can plot this particular z1 with respect to time also, then you are getting that kind of trajectory. And this trajectory is somehow exact trajectory, because if I know the z10, then uniquely at each time instant I can able to construct z1. Similarly with respect to this I am able to construct another solution trajectory, and that somehow that is looks like, because I am assuming that lambda 1 and lambda 2 both are negative. So at that time I have this kind of solution. If we do not means put that restriction, if lambda is greater than 0, then I have solution that is going to explore with respect to time. So in this way I am able to talk about some kind of solution with respect to time. But I have already told you that in phase plane analysis basically I have two axes z1 and z2, and somehow we are not mentioning the time. So we have to somehow remove the time, and due to that reason whenever we are talking about phase plane analysis, that is limited to time invariant system, because in time varying system somehow it is very difficult to remove the information of time. Due to that reason this whatever analysis today I am going to talk, that is just limited for two-dimensional autonomous system, and that is linear time invariant system. So somehow using this exact solution I am willing to drop the information of time, and if you drop the information of time then you are able to get this kind of relation. Here you can see that time is not explicitly present. So after dropping the time, now it is very difficult to again extract the exact information, but obviously you are able to extract the approximate information of z1 and z2, but time is not involved. So I cannot comment anything about time by seeing this particular relation. And here see, it is pretty easy to see that how basically one can construct here. This is varying with respect to time. So just what you have to do, you have to remove this t, and so z1t by z10 and logarithmic function you can take, and again same t you are going to club here, then you are able to generate this. So I hope that you will drive this kind of expression, that is pretty easy. Now I have different condition. So suppose that in first place if both eigenvalue are negative. So if both eigenvalue are negative, so you can see that z1, if z2 is negative, z1 is negative, then z2 by lambda 2 by lambda 1, that is always greater than 0, because we are assuming that lambda 2 and lambda 1 both has same sign and both are negative. After that I am, for time being, without loss of generality, I am assuming that lambda 1 is less negative than lambda 2. So they will satisfy this kind of condition, lambda 2 less than lambda 1 less than 0. In this particular case, you can see that I have lambda 2 by lambda 1, that is basically lambda 2 by lambda 1, that is less than 1. And after that, if you see this equation very carefully, then for some particular, so in order to draw this, first you can assume that suppose I have lambda 2 equal to 2 and lambda 1 equal to 1, then I have z2 equal to c z1 square. So somehow you have something, some parabolic kind of things is involved here. In generalized case, that is not parabola, some different structure. So but I can approximate, because here I am just try to extract the approximate solution. So you have to just extract the approximate shape, and after that what I am telling from here, that you can see that why trajectory is coming like this. So one can see from here very easily. From here also you can see that as t tending towards infinity, then from this expression in that particular plot, although the information of t is not present, but we know how basically we are driving z1 and z2. So due to that reason I can claim like this: if t tending towards infinity and lambda 1 is negative, so you can see that z1 is tending towards 0. Similarly z2 is tending towards 0. So due to that reason, based on that information, what we are telling that I have curve something like this. So as t tending towards infinity, so z1 and z2 both tending towards this point, that is 0 0. And due to that reason, whatever, and 0 0 is also the equilibrium point, because whenever I have started with this model and finally will end up to this particular model, so I have something like m, and after that a m inverse into z. So here you can see that z equal to 0 is the equilibrium point. So first I am plotting everything in this transform coordinate system. So this equilibrium point is called a stable node, because you can see that all trajectory that is going to converge towards this particular node. So, and this is also called nodal sink. It means that if I have some two-dimensional system x dot equal to ax, and if both eigenvalue are real, distinct and negative, then we have this kind of behavior. That is, and that behavior is called a stable node. And by plotting the slope or calculating the slope of this curve also, you are able to guess this behavior. So due to that reason I have also calculated the slope. So you can see that slope of this curve d2z by dz1 equal to this, and here I am assuming that lambda 2 is greater than lambda 1. So this is always positive. This particular quantity is always positive. So slope approaches 0 as z1 tending towards 0, and approach infinity as z1 tending towards infinity. And due to that reason, one can plot like this. So from here also, so by seeing the slope also one can plot this curve. So this is the approximate plot when both eigenvalue is negative. Again, now what you can do, you can assume that lambda 1 is greater than lambda 2. Means lambda 1 is more negative than lambda 2, and at that time actually what happens, that here this become negative, lambda 2 by lambda 1 minus 1, then basically this curve, shape of curve will just change, but behavior will never change. Means all trajectory is going to converge towards equilibrium point only. So same kind of things I have written here. Now what happens, that whatever plot we have done, that is we have done on z1 and z2, and what we are telling that, okay, if I have two-dimensional system and if I have z1 and z2 coordinates system, so something like parabola kind of things is coming here, and all trajectory is converging towards this. but my original coordinate system is x1 and x2. So you have to draw the trajectory in the original coordinate system also. And here what we have seen, that trajectory is basically when they are going to converge here. So this particular trajectory is tangent here, z1 equal to 0 is the tangent towards this particular curve. So basically how you can construct that curve when you have original coordinate frame. So one important result that is from linear algebra is that if you are going to do some kind of transformation, so basically eigenvalue is not going to change. So either you can calculate the eigenvalue of the matrix A or M inverse, both eigenvalue is the same. So due to that reason eigenvector is also remains invariant, and due to that reason I can, using help of eigenvector, due to that reason I am assuming that v1 eigenvector associated with the x1 and v2 with respect to x2. So somehow this eigenvector is not going to change, but due to transformation I have certain kind of rotation of x1 and z. So basically I can tell that in z1 and z2 plane, suppose this is the v1 eigenvector and v2 eigenvector, because that is not going to change. So due to that reason I can tell that trajectory means is going to again become tangential at this point, particularly this point, and parallel in the at the infinity. And in this way I can again construct the original trajectory x1 and x2. So first I construct trajectory in z1 and z2, and after that using the help of idea of the eigenvector I can again construct trajectory in original plane x1 and x2. Behavior remains the same. So most of time for construction purpose we are using the concept of eigenvector, but just by transformed system we are able to understand the behavior, and same behavior one can see that is maintaining here. Due to that reason there is no need to become worry about the plot, just finally we have to know the behavior. So behavior is again here stable nodal. Now suppose that when both eigenvalue is the positive, so again I am assuming lambda 2 is greater than lambda 1 greater than 0. So you can see that here everything remains the same. Again in the same way what you can do, you can drop the t, you can draw the behavior between z1 and z2, and again you can plot it, and after that using the slope you are able to construct the curve. But here what happens, as t tending towards infinity or z1 tending towards 0, you are able to see that if lambda 2 is greater than lambda 1 by slope, then all trajectory is basically diverging, and due to that reason this equilibrium point here is called unstable node. Unstable node means if you start any trajectory in the vicinity of equilibrium point, that is going to diverge, and due to that reason just arrow is going to become reverse. So you can just plot the stable node, and if both eigenvalue is negative then trajectory is converging towards the stable node or node. If both eigenvalue is unstable then that is diverging, and due to that reason we are telling that this class of node is called unstable node. Now again, and this is also called nodal source. Source means something basically originated from it, and sink means something is going to merge. So in a stable case what we have seen, that all trajectory is going to merge to the equilibrium point, and here all trajectory is going to diverge. Now let us try to see the third case, where in that case suppose that if I have again distinct eigenvalue, but if that eigenvalue has opposite sign. So if they have opposite sign means one is positive, one is negative. So I am, without loss of generality, I am assuming that lambda 1 is positive and lambda 2 is negative. So you can see that from first you try to guess, because no, you are knowing both. So you are also knowing this kind of things, that z1t, solution of z1t is z10 e power lambda t, and z2t is z20 e power lambda 2t. So if I assume lambda 2 is negative, then as t tending towards infinity, what happens? That z20 is going to forget their initial condition and they are going to converge to the z2 equal to 0. But here in this case, as t, since lambda 1 is positive, so we are going to become more higher and higher, and same kind of things one can see from here. So how basically one can construct this solution? First you can drop the t by same methodology, and after that you can put this kind of condition. So it is possible to show that you can start from any point. So you have converging kind of behavior towards z1 axis, but what happens that somehow converging towards z2 axis but diverging towards z1 axis. So same kind of things I have shown here, and whatever curve you are going to get, that is called hyperbolic curve. But you have just four curve that is not hyperbolic, that is along the axis. So along the axis you can see that in z direction trajectory is going to converge towards the equilibrium point. This is 0 0, and in z1 axis we have divergence because lambda 1 is positive. If you have reverse sign, then this sign is going to reverse, and this kind of behavior has some name, and this name is called saddle point. So in saddle point, whenever in the occurrence of saddle point, what happens that I have convergence in one direction, divergence in another direction. So somehow saddle point also is called unstable point only, because finally all trajectory is going to diverge. You can see that same kind of information is basically coming from from this phase portrait. So what basically we are telling, system is stable provided both eigenvalue is negative. If both are positive, then we will diverge. If one is positive, one is negative, again I will converge in one direction but finally diverge in another direction. So we have again unstable behavior. Now let us try to see the same kind of plot if I will try to plot in original coordinate frame, and I have already told you that whenever we have to plot original coordinate frame, first we will plot eigenvector, and after that whatever behavior means everything is tangent towards z1 and z2, so that is coming towards z1 axis, and finally means converging towards z1 axis but diverging from coming towards z2 axis but diverging towards z1 axis. So similar kind of behavior basically here also comes into picture with respect to v1 and v2. So somehow v1 and v2 plays the role of z1 and z2. Now so what we have observed till now, I have three different kind of behavior. If both eigenvalue are real and distinct and negative, then I have a stable node. If both are positive, then unstable node. If one is positive, one is negative, then I have some converging as well as diverging behavior, and that is called, so equilibrium point in that case is called saddle point. Now let us come to the second case when I have complex eigenvalue, and I have already told you that means complex quantity always occur in their conjugate pair. So if one eigenvalue is complex, obviously another is also complex. So for time being, what I am assuming here, that I have beta greater than 0 and alpha may be positive and negative. So I can represent this complex eigenvalue like this also, and this is pretty obvious because you can see that if I represent like this, then again I have lambda plus alpha square and plus beta square equal to 0, and if you solve this kind of characteristic equation, then you are going to get this kind of eigenvalue. Due to that reason, means after transformation, this system means x dot equal to ax is represented like this in this particular way. And from here I can extract the information z1 dot equal to alpha z1 minus beta z2. So one can just multiplying this. either you can put negative sign here, that doesn't matter. Now solution of this, again you can see that these are the coupled equation, so I cannot directly solve it. In first case, what is beauty, that both equation is decoupled, so I can easily solve by treating each equation as a first order. But here I have second order coupled equation. Due to that reason, I am going to do some kind of another coordinate frame transformation, and people have already means noted this behavior, that whenever we have complex root, at that time we have solution is little bit oscillatory. So due to that reason, they start finding solution by some kind of oscillatory function, and so they have treated oscillatory function, and most simple oscillatory function is sine and cosine. So they are assuming z1 is r cos theta and z2 is r cos theta, where r is some positive quantity greater than 0. And how to construct r? Just you can do a squaring, z1 square plus z2 square, then I can construct r, value of r, and from here you can easily see that r1, if I differentiate this relation with respect to time, then I have to r1 r dot. So basically r dot is nothing but dr by dt. So I am defining like this. So 2 and 2 will come here, and here again I am differentiating with respect to time. So due to that reason, I have basically dr square by dr, and after that I have dr by dt. So like this, and due to that reason, means basically I am differentiating r square. So here equality sign is not there. So I have separate equation like this, and from this equation you can see that I can generate this, and I am going to drop 2 because both side 2 is going to appear. And after that, just I am going to substitute z1 from the main equation and z2 from the main equation or transform equation. So I know what is z1 and z2. So in this way I can, again you can see here that I am going to get very beautiful simplified form. And here again I have r dot equal to alpha r. Here alpha may be positive, negative, and r is always greater than 0. But I cannot claim anything about r dot. Why r is greater than 0? Because we are assuming r x means z square and plus z1 square plus z2 square. And whenever you are writing this kind of symbol, this meaning of this symbol is always positive. But suppose if you are writing x square equal to 5, then it might possible x is plus and means positive and negative. But if you write x equal to root 5, then this is always positive. So please be careful about this. So due to that reason, I am telling that now I have just first order equation, because now r belongs to r. Why I am telling r belongs to r? Because z1 belongs to r, z2 belongs to r, so their square is also belongs to r. And due to that reason, we are telling that this I have just first order equation in the polar form. And similarly, since in polar form I have to require two different information, one more information is related to the angle. So tan theta is z2 by z1, and for time being I am assuming z1 not equal to 0, otherwise I cannot write in this form. So due to mathematical limitation I am writing like this. And after that, again you can take derivative on both sides with respect to time, then you are able to get this. And after that I am able to write sec square theta equal to 1 plus tan square theta, and tan theta you are knowing z2 by z1, so I am going to substitute that. And after that d theta by dt, again I have written using this kind of symbol. So basically these two are exactly equal, and after that I am going to substitute z2 value and z1 dot value. And here you can see that what happened, that z1 square and z1 square is cancelled from both sides, and finally I have z1 square z2 square. So finally I have very beautiful equation theta 1 dot equal to beta. So finally in polar coordinate I have just two equation, and that equation is a scalar differential equation, and basically that equation is nothing but that is written like this. So I have two separate scalar equations, so I can independently solve it. And RTE is r0 e power alpha t, and theta is theta 0 plus beta t. I am assuming that here r0 is the initial condition. And how to construct r0? Because I know x means x1 0 and x2 0. So I will substitute from transformation. I can construct z1 0, z2 0, and r0 is square root of z1 0 plus z2 0. So in this way I can construct r0. Similarly, I can construct the theta 0 by information of x1 0 and x2 0. So, and if you see the plot of this, so here, if suppose theta 0 equal to 0, then what happens? As we are moving, so angle is going to increase, and basically here, if you see this function, so I have certain kind of rotation, and so basically, and basically this function, if most of time what basically we are doing, I have to plot relation between Z1 and Z2. So how basically we are plotting relation between Z2 and Z1, because I know Z1 equal to R cos theta and Z2 equal to R sin theta. So what we have observed, that theta is basically rotating with respect to time, and r is also going to increase with respect to time. Due to that reason, this kind of plot comes into picture, and name of this plot is called logarithmic plot. And if alpha less than 0, then you can start from any initial condition, and your radius r, that is going to decrease. Due to that reason, we have converging type of behavior. And if I have alpha that is greater than 0, then I have diverging kind of behavior. So if you start from any initial condition, finally you, in a spiral way, you are going to become out from this equilibrium point. So if you start nearby of, if you start exactly at equilibrium point, then by definition of equilibrium point you cannot move. But if you start neighborhood of the equilibrium point, then this kind of behavior you have, means you are going to diverge spirally. So basically I have two different kind of situation. If alpha less than 0, then I have converging spiral behavior, and name is called stable focus, and that is called unstable focus. Now I have another situation. Suppose I have alpha equal to 0. So if alpha equal to 0, then e power alpha t equal to 1. So rt equal to r0, and r0 is decided by z10, z20, and z10 and z20 is decided by x10 and x20. So finally this radius become constant, but theta is still changing, because I am assuming that beta is always greater than 0, and due to that reason I have no, radius is not going to change, but angle is going to change. And due to that reason, now if you start from any initial condition, so due to angle change you are going to rotate like this. Similarly, you are going to rotate like this. If you start from another point, again you are going to rotate like this, but your radius always become fixed, because you can see that rt is become r0 e power, and here alpha equal to 0 means 0. So rt equal to r0. So this is decided by initial condition. So based on initial condition, you have different of phase portrait in this particular Z1 and Z2 plane. And similarly, I have already told you that. So name of this is called center. And similarly, I can again plot these quantity in original coordinate frame x1 and x2, again with help of the eigenvector. So I haven't drawn here. So basically, what is our conclusion? In case of complex eigenvalue, I have three different kind of behavior. Either I have a stable focus if the real part of the eigenvalue is negative, unstable focus if real part of eigenvalue is positive, and center if real part of eigenvalue is 0. Now another case, that is called third case. Suppose you have multiple eigenvalue. So I have already told you that in case of multiple eigenvalue, I can write in Jordan form. So I have written here generalized Jordan form. So basically, if you have repeated eigenvalue, then it might possible in some case you can observe that I have a structure like this also, lambda 1 0 0 lambda 2, and after that I have z1 z2 like this also. Due to that reason, I have put here k, and k equal to 0, then I can able to recover this form, means diagonal form. And in another way, sometime I have this kind of form also, that is possible 1 0 and lambda 2. So in order to represent that quantity, I am going to put here k equal to 1. So due to that reason, in order to construct the generalized solution, I have taken like this. And after that, solution of this is also not difficult. Why? You can see that second equation is fully decoupled. So first I will solve the second one, and after that I am going to couple the solution of Z2 in this place, and after that I will solve. In this method, I am able to construct the whole solution of Z1 and Z2 with respect to time. And after that, I have told you that how to do plotting. You have to drop the information of time. So in order, after dropping, you are getting this kind of behavior between Z1 and Z2. Now if you put k equal to 0, now you can see that Z1 and Z2 is basically just multiply by this some constant number, and due to that reason I have this kind of behavior. So if lambda that is less than 0, then converging behavior, lambda greater than 0, then I have diverging behavior in case of the repeated solution. So I think that now you are easily able to plot this kind of behavior. And a straight line I have plot, because whatever relation we are getting from this equation, that is Z1 is a scaling factor Z1 0 by Z2 0 multiplied by Z2 if k equal to 0. Suppose if k equal to 1, then this, due to this logarithmic function, I have plot that is looks like this. So this plot I have drawn for lambda less than 0, for lambda greater than 0, just you have to reverse the sign. So in this way I am able to plot the behavior or qualitative behavior of linear autonomous time invariant system in all possible cases. Now let us try to see that how basically we will take the help of, and again the name of this is stable, means a stable node only. So I have a stable node, unstable node, a stable focus, unstable focus, or center. And so I have just 5 different kind of nomenclature that is basically existing whenever we are talking about the whole analysis. So two things is, and again one more is saddle. I have missed. So basically I have nodal node, saddle point, node is stable unstable, center, after that I have focus. So please try to understand each and every in the every nomenclature by some kind of pictorial way, then things become more transparent. Now you can see that for nonlinear system also now I can use these kind of technique, whatever we have learned. So what I am telling that, suppose I have some second order nonlinear system, and we have already developed method for the linear system x dot equal to ax, and here again I am assuming that this is two-dimensional system, and we have already learned that any nonlinear system in the vicinity of certain point, and most of time I am taking equilibrium point, that is actually in certain condition it is possible to express large class of nonlinear system into some kind of linear system. So what I am telling, suppose that P1 and P2 is the equilibrium point of this system. So due to that reason I have to first put this, and we know that what is this and why basically this term comes into picture. So I am not going to again talk about this, and after that I am going to neglect higher order term, because what I am assuming that this point x1 is the vicinity of p1, means x1 and p1 is very close, and x2 and p2 is very close. Due to that reason higher order term is very negligible, and after that we are assuming y1, that is nothing but x1 and minus p1 and x2 minus p2, and basically due to equilibrium point this equal to 0, and similarly this equal to 0, this particular quantity equal to 0. So if I will substitute in this coordinate frame, and I am assuming that p1 and p2 is some constant equilibrium point, so due to that reason y1 dot equal to x1 dot plus some constant derivative of constant quantity equal to 0. So in this way I can tell that y1 dot equal to x1 dot, and finally I have this kind of linear system, and I can construct the matrix A by this kind of Jacobian we have already seen. And now I have again second order linear system. So again I will apply all analysis whatever we learned just now. So I am going to take one very simple example, and I have already told you that pendulum system is my favorite example, because almost all concept it is possible to explain either that is related to linear and nonlinear control by pendulum system example. So here I am assuming some numbers, because if you have number then you are able to do analysis. So I am assuming that that number means by k by L term. You already know that how basically this differential equation is coming. Now I am not going to write again. And I have equilibrium point, that is n pi equal to 0, n equal to 0. So I have infinite number of isolated equilibrium point. So I can able to perform linearization either about means infinite many way. So I have two set of equilibrium point. So one equilibrium point for n equal to 0 is 0 0. So if you do the Jacobian, if you calculate the Jacobian matrix about 0 0, then you are able to get this kind of matrix A1. And if you check the eigenvalue, you can see that the real part of eigenvalue is negative, and if that is negative, then I have a stable focus. So what we are telling that nonlinear system, behavior of nonlinear system across 0 0, so in vicinity of 0 0 is a stable focus. Now try to see the another eigenvalue, another system matrix A2, that is across the pi and 0. So if you substitute pi and 0 in this, means x1 equal to pi, at that time I have basically this kind of this kind of means pi by 2, sorry. So pi by 2 means I am taking so I have this pendulum position, and after that I have this pendulum position. So sorry, pi, this is pi. So basically I am going to tell that x1 equal to pi and x2 equal to 0. About this point I have this matrix A2, and eigenvalue, if you will see, then one eigenvalue is negative, another is positive. So trajectory is converging towards one eigenvalue but diverging towards another eigenvalue. And from pendulum system you are easily able to understand this, that what happens that somehow if you are deviating from this point, then what happens, finally you are again converging towards this point, but theta is going to diverge, and in this way I have saddle kind of behavior. Now let us try to, so what happens that if you have some nonlinear system, after linearization, if you see that equilibrium point means the behavior of equilibrium point of linear system is node, a stable node, then original nonlinear system also behave in the same fashion, means equilibrium point of original nonlinear system is again a stable node. If linearized system has unstable node, then original system also have unstable node in the vicinity of the linearized point or equilibrium point, you can tell. Similar kind of things I can talk about the focus also. Similar kind of things I can talk about the saddle point. But try to see this case. Suppose if I have center kind of behavior, and we know that when center kind of behavior comes into picture, when I have purely imaginary eigenvalue. So if I have purely imaginary eigenvalue, suppose for time being I am assuming that eigenvalue is plus minus j. At that time beta equal to 1. So beta equal to either plus 1 or minus 1 you can take. So I have in this case mu equal to 0 0, and I have minus 1 1, and basically in this case it is possible to show that eigenvalue is plus minus j. But suppose I have certain kind of perturbation, because most of time whenever we are doing linearization, so somehow we are assuming that there is no perturbation, but original nonlinear system, if you see, some perturbation is there. So what we are telling that somehow if I have a stable or unstable focus, a stable and unstable node, a stable or saddle point, then same kind of behavior under perturbation they will preserve. But try to see that in case of center, see this quantity either mu that become positive or negative. So basically some case it might possible this is positive because this is perturbation parameter, we don't know parameter. But if you see that even if that is very small, so if mu greater than 0, then I have unstable focus. We already know that if alpha greater than 0, then what is the behavior, and if mu is less than 0, at that time I have a stable focus. So basically after linearization of nonlinear system about some point, if you get that eigenvalue is purely imaginary, then you are not able to comment any behavior about the original nonlinear system. So basically I cannot give the qualitative picture if I will get the behavior, means center kind of behavior for linearized system. But all other case I can talk about the behavior of nonlinear system in the vicinity of the linearized point. And I have constructed that kind of very means one example. I will show you example in the last. So what we have tell that phase portrait of the center may not persistent under the perturbation. We have already seen that. So due to that reason, one more definition comes into picture, and that is called hyperbolic equilibrium point. So the equilibrium point is a hyperbolic if A has no eigenvalue with zero real part. So it means that whatever system, even if linear and nonlinear system we are going to talk, because linear system and nonlinear system in the vicinity of some equilibrium point, they have same behavior provided this kind of situation will not come. And due to that reason I have another class of definition, that is hyperbolic equilibrium point. It means that we are assuming that linearized matrix about some equilibrium point do not fall in this class. Basically it means that eigen means real part of eigenvalue is never 0, then that class of equilibrium point or that class of system is called hyperbolic system, and equilibrium point is called hyperbolic equilibrium point. So you try to see that this particular example, x1 dot equal to minus x2 and x2 dot equal to x1, if you linearize this system, it is possible to show that, and this is just exercise for you. So this is possible to show that here here basically eigenvalue is plus minus j. So now I am going to conclude this class. So what we have seen that if I have any linear or non-linear two-dimensional autonomous system, then I can talk about the qualitative behavior about some particular point. And first we have to understand these kind of behavior for the linear system, and same kind of things we have extended for the nonlinear system. And if you see in the literature, then large class of means mechanical system, electrical system, or the different class of system after approximation, that is actually means satisfy the property of nonlinear autonomous system, or if you apply control, then that convert into non-linear autonomous system. Then these kind of methodology you can use in order to make sure, or in order to see the behavior of trajectory in the neighborhood of the equilibrium point. But please be careful, at equilibrium point I cannot talk about any behavior, because if you start with equilibrium point, you are going to remain there. So even if that is a stable and unstable, that doesn't matter. But in the neighborhood of equilibrium point, you are able to talk about the behavior. So this is the one of the way that is called qualitative way of the analysis of second order system. And most of time people have done this analysis for second order system only because you can able to visualize the portrait in your blackboard plane or your notebook plane. Due to that reason, people have only limit these kind of analysis for second order system. So with this remark, I am going to close the today's lecture. So thank you very much.